I'm bigcal and welcome to my world. I love Star Wars. Lots of people do. And there is of course the new Star Wars Rogue One film coming out in just a couple of days from when I'm recording this. I'm probably going to have this out before it's released. But yeah, I love Star Wars, and it seems that every year around Christmassy time, for whatever reason, I get into a really big Star Wars mood. Last year was the first time that I watched the cartoon series, the Clone Wars show, which absolutely fantastic. And now we've got Star Wars Rebels going. Took me a while to get around to watching that. I'm caught up now, watching it as it airs weekly. Again, absolutely fantastic. I've seen all the films so many times, even the prequel trilogy. I've played so many of the games, I own a ton of them. Without really thinking, I've ended up collecting a mass amount of Star Wars games. But it wasn't enough for me. I needed more Star Wars in my life. So I finally got around to entering the Star Wars Extended Universe in book form. And the first one that I got, which is what I want to talk about a little today, is Star Wars Darth Plagueis. Now, unfortunately, I do believe this is no longer canon. I think this came out before Disney purchased the old Star Wars copyrights and all that stuff, and everything before Disney is now non-canon, which is a shame because there's a lot of good stuff. However, this is still an absolute fantastic book, a fantastic read, and would so easily fit within canon, even with the new Disney stuff right now. So, the reason that I picked this one up first is because I was actually looking for a book on Emperor Palpatine, Darth Sidious, and as far as I could tell, there doesn't seem to be any books based around just him individually. So I went with the next best thing and got the book based on his master, Darth Plagueis, thinking, yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of the Emperor in here because, he was Darth Plagueis' apprentice. And thankfully that is true, there is a lot of Palpatine in this book. So yeah, it is a fantastic read. I love that you learn a little bit about Darth Tenebrous, I think it is, Darth Tenebrous, Darth Plagueis' master. You learn a little bit about the dynamic between those two, and then how he kills his master and becomes the one true Sith Lord, and then how he finds Emperor Palpatine, well, it was just Palpatine at the time, he's just a young kid, and how he manipulates Palpatine into basically murdering his family and unleashing the darkness within him so he can become his dark side apprentice. There's all this really genuinely interesting stuff with all the the politics in play and how things really began that set everything in motion for the Phantom Menace. So because Darth Plagueis, his real name, I think Hago Damask, I think it's Hago or Higo, I never know how to pronounce it, I always just called it Hago Damask in my head. He's the head of Damask Holdings, big money corporation, lends out money to people, deals with a lot of bad people as well, like the Hutts, funds a lot of them, funds a lot of the Outer Rim worlds and things like that. A very intelligent being, which is why his nickname is Darth Plagueis the Wise. His obsession with trying to become immortal, basically, create life, prevent death and things like that, all explained in here wonderfully. You have him with meetings with Jedi, such as what was his name? Sifo Dyas. Diaz, I think it is, who you might recognise from the prequel trilogy, the name popping up as the man who ordered the clone army. And the clone army is talked about in this book as Hago Damask, just as himself, not as Darth Plagueis, speaks to Sifo Dyas and even Count Dooku about these clone armies and puts the idea into their head. And it really does seem at one point that it is, Sifo Dyas that orders it. But then with the Clone Wars TV show, it is revealed that Dooku kills Sifo Dyas and basically takes his name and orders it in his place. So that's a bit that doesn't really make sense, but yeah, you get these great meetings with Jedi and Hago Damask, who don't know that he's the Dark Sith Lord, and such really just gripping, intelligent conversations. The book is extremely well written. All the stuff with Palpatine, with his training and things like that, is all so wonderful. The origin of Darth Maul, how he came to be, Darth Maul, how he was discovered essentially. That's all in here, and like I said, the way that everything's described, all the grand plan as it's known as, how they set everything in motion, makes me appreciate the prequel trilogy that much more. Because if you watch The Phantom Menace, you got all this stuff about trade taxes and things, and you're just like, what is this? Makes so much more sense after you read this book, and is actually interesting. This book makes all that stuff interesting. So you can't go wrong with that. If it makes something that was seemingly boring before interesting, great. Midichlorians. Lots of people hated that when they explained what the Force was with midichlorians. They go into so much detail on midichlorians in this book that it makes you like them. It makes you appreciate the lore that they go into and they create for all this, and how Darth Plagueis tries to manipulate these midichlorians to create life and prevent death and things like that. It's all just so wonderful. You've got the clone army, how all that comes to be, the grand plan of trying to make Palpatine the Grand, the Grand Chancellor? The Supreme Chancellor. Crikey, I'm forgetting things. And the fact that Plagueis was still alive during, right up to the night before Palpatine became Supreme Chancellor, and the original goal was him to be named Co-Supreme Chancellor. And, well, obviously that didn't turn out. It's just absolutely fantastic book. I urge everyone to give this a go. Learn about Plagueis, learn about Palpatine, what he was like when he was younger, how he came into power, all that sort of things. And they also explain how Anakin Skywalker was potentially born as well, with Plagueis and Sidious doing an old Sith ritual and dark magics, and they turn the balance of the Force in their favour, and that's how the Jedi become clouded and can't see things, can't see the future properly. And as a result, the Force created something to balance the Force, which was Anakin Skywalker. It was born out of the Force, basically, is what they're implying. Some people think that Plagueis actually created him, because that's what he was doing. He was trying to manipulate midichlorians to create life. But no, it's actually more of the Force itself created Anakin to, bring balance back to the Force after what Plagueis and Sidious did. So, yeah, absolutely wonderful, fantastic book. Please pick this one up. Star Wars, Darth Plagueis, highly, highly recommend it. I'm Big Cal, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon with another video about a Star Wars book. Thanks for watching.